Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Listen Up with Phil and Rye. Actually, early morning, Wednesday morning, when we're recording this episode. So, thank you once again, everybody, for joining us. Up to 2.43 thousand subscribers. So, again, thank you guys for all the support. We're going to be grinding out some videos here in the upcoming weeks as we're only about, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks away from the season starting. So definitely going to be pumping out some videos. I'd say probably at least three a week for you guys. And of course, when the season gets here, it'll be just as many. So we should be in for a pretty good ride when the season starts here. But next up on the list for today's episode for the player breakdown is Ice Brady. But before I get into that, I wanted to congratulate the New York Liberty for winning its first ever WNBA championship. Breanna Stewart, now a three-time champion. Liberty were finally able to put all the pieces together. And hats off to the Minnesota Lynx as well. Incredible season by them. They just came up a little short. The Fisa Collier was unreal during that playoff run. She broke about four postseason records, and that was an unbelievable five-game series between both teams. Phil, I don't know if you want to comment on the WNBA finals.
Yeah, I think you know what my comment is. Just very quickly, first time ever I purchased Washington Mystics tickets, and they were playing down at Capital One before they moved to the new arena. And I keep telling you this over and over. You're like, yeah, Phil, you done told me 10 times. Uh, I guess Breanna Stewart only played for the Liberty. That's it. She didn't play for anybody else.
Uh,
You
I
have to look,
I
but
believe she played
anyway,
for Seattle, right? Seattle
okay,
Storm.
yeah. All right, that's right. Seattle Storm was there. That's when it was. One of the first years Deladon went to Washington, and just by the grace of God, right? Because I love WNBA action. I love it all, Ryan, all sports. So here, I feel so guilty even to this day. Post game, I'm down low near the floor, and all of a sudden, one of these athletes, I could just tell. You could just tell post game when it's one of them. Obviously, the jersey but again, I didn't see the back of the jersey, and she had flip flops on post game, right? And she just walks by me and brushes up against my shoulder, and I'm like, man, she looks so familiar. I'm like, who in the heck is this? Well, come to find out, it's Breanna Stewart. So yeah, man. I mean, one of the most magical times, right, at my WNBA being a season ticket holder. But anyway, yeah, I'm glad you shouted out to them. Congratulations to New York Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu, that clutch logo three. It was at game three, I guess. But yeah, I mean, one of the most memorable, and that's again, that does a lot for women's basketball. I know we always talk about it. One of the most memorable WNBA finals ever in league history. Excited that it went 5 games. And again, excited for Breanna Stewart, former UConn Husky, and thank you to her for brushing up against my shoulder.
Yeah, I saw 12.1 million, so definitely broke a couple viewership records, I think. So yeah, a lot of incredible moments during that series. But now let's get into the player breakdown. Ice Brady, yet another redshirt player entering her sophomore season. She did not play in the 2022 to 23 season due to a knee injury, and then she comes back and steps up for Ayanna Patterson and Jana El Alfie. And Brady pretty much became a 1-2 punch behind Aaliyah Edwards last year. Brady played in 39 games, started in three of those, and two of those starts came in the semifinal and the final of the Big East tournament when Aaliyah Edwards is out. Brady played all 40 minutes in both of those games. And I think I was most impressed with how she grew during the season. She gained confidence throughout and became more consistent. She stepped up when UConn needed her to, and now she can use all that experience moving forward into this season. It's going to be very interesting to see if Ice Brady is in the starting lineup on opening night. and how many starts that she's going to make throughout this season. I think her combined with Sarah Strong or Jonna L. Alfie sounds like a pretty good combination, and that's a whole lot of height down there in the paint as well. And I would think after last year, Gino would trust Ice Brady a little more, and I'm really expecting to see her in a lot of games this season. I think she can be really impactful to this team. And yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Ice Brady now.
All right. Yeah. Man, you couldn't have said it better. And just to go off of that very quickly before we get into comments, this is I now just discovered a spotlight on Ice Brady, right? Early this morning on Listen Up on October 23rd. So you're right. We only have about 2 weeks until opening night. But yeah, man, Ryan's never heard this. I don't think anybody's ever heard this come out of my mouth. I'm just now realizing Ice Brady she is really one of my favorites. Not that it really matters to anybody or you, Ryan, but man, look, you said it right because I'm looking out of Aubrey Griffin, you have Ayanna Patterson, you have Yana L. Alfie, Sarah Strong, the new rookie #1 recruit, right? And you think about it, it's something that you and I, and not only since we started this podcast, but it's something that UConn Huskies fans haven't had in a while, I feel like. So you really hit it on the spot there when you said all that size down low. And I think, again, I haven't seen Sarah Strong yet in college action, but I just think it's question marks surrounding Patterson. She's great. Aubrey Griffin, we saw how great she is. Ice Brady, though, to me, Ryan, she's the one. She is the one. And again, it's not even so much basketball terms, right? Because Phil knows what he's talking about. No doubt. No doubt in anybody's mind. Right? I'm just kidding. I'm being sarcastic. Basketball terms, set that to the side. Ice Brady, to me, Ryan, the personality. If you don't mind, if anybody doesn't mind me talking about this, I mean, why not? I mean, I get it. It's basketball, but the personality, the smile that she always brings. You and I was down there against Georgetown last year, and I just love to see her face light up, in practices. She's getting everybody hyped up. Man, look, again, I get it. We got to talk about Spotlight, what she's going to do for the games. I get all that, but it's kind of different because I'm like, this time I'm coming on with Ryan on this pod, and I'm going to talk about how big how big that smile is, but how big the personality is behind this great player that we call Ice Brady. Man, look, I don't know if there's a better. Now I get it. I talk about Paige all the time, but KK Arnold, they all bring their natural ability, their natural talents. They all have something unique about them. But for some reason, man, Ice Brady, she's definitely, you said it right. She stepped up and I'm sorry, KK and Paige, but yeah, I mean, you got a little bit of competition right now for that top spot. I love Ice Brady.
Yeah, and I really think you could argue, the only, forward on this team that's really proved that she can start amongst the healthy ones, of course, because we saw Ayanna Patterson wearing that brace on her arm, so we're still uncertain about whether she's going to be good to go here in a couple of weeks. And of course, Aubrey Griffin doesn't have a timetable to return yet. So, of course, with Sarah Strong being a new recruit, she's been pretty impressive during this all season, but still a couple question marks surrounding her. And of course, Jonna L. Alfie has yet to play in a UConn uniform during a regular season game. So, there's, we have Ice Brady, who played in almost every single game last season because of those injuries, and really stepped up in a big way and just kept improving as the season went on. So I really expect her to be a really big part in the season, and probably get an opportunity to play again this season, just about it in every single game.
All right, let's go over to the last video. We appreciate everybody coming through. How about Jason D'Amico said, the quality I love most about Ashlyn is not what she does on the court, but off of it. Well, how about that, Ryan? I just talked about Ice Brady, about that topic, and now look at this. While she may not have all the skill sets of a Paige Beckers, the one thing she does have is work ethic. Ashlyn wins games long before the season ever begins, and it starts in the weight room. She is coachable, never makes the same mistake twice, and improves with every single game. A true powerhouse. Regards, Jason. I miss my peace, Jason. Where's the peace? I like peace, especially nowadays, right, Ryan? We need a lot of peace. Man, look, not regards, Jason. Let's switch that back up to peace.
Yeah, it's certainly not wrong about that. But yeah, I think, I mean, you could probably argue that for, pretty much every player on this roster. I think there's something, UConn obviously recruits a lot of talented ladies, but, I think that it goes more into just them being talented basketball players. I think there's really a culture that UConn builds, and they have built it where they're student athletes on and off the court. They do a lot of things for the community, for the Yukon Husky family, and they're great, role models off the court as well. So that's something we love about this Yukon Huskies team, and every player on this team as well.
Paul said Ashlyn is a vital core component to this team, and she does that flying under the radar. Very good defender, very good decision maker. I actually wish she'd be more assertive offensively. I would mention that she's also strong physically, and I'm guessing that'll be more evident this year. Equals a winner. Gino trusts her too.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Ashlyn can definitely improve a little bit on defense, but she was getting a good amount of steals, I would say, for a freshman season last year. So hopefully that can continue for her, and she can be even more of a lockdown guard for this team to go along with, all that 3-point shooting and explosive offense that we saw out of her last season. The same goes for Ice Brady and Ashlyn Shade. They had big seasons last year as freshmen, so really expecting them both to come into their sophomore campaigns and provide just as much as they did last year for this team.
Miles Angus said, always look forward to your show. I take that to heart. I know that Ryan does too. We appreciate you, Miles. Just Me said, I agree with Rye on his Ashlyn Shade assessment. We should see a lot from her this year. Another really good show. I was looking back at episodes earlier today, Ryan, from last season, and I thought, man, it's going to be so weird, right? In a couple weeks, going on the last check in, predicting starting lineup with Ryan. And not only that, last check in and then hitting the road against USC. Like, this is mind blowing, man. Last one of the night, Benny Benson said Ashlyn gets overlooked by media probably due to her lack of presence on social media and reserved personality. But I'm glad y'all are giving our Big East Rookie of the Year her flowers. Without her, the Jackson State game last year isn't an easy win. Our best lineup this season has Ash in it. I'll be surprised if she ends her UConn career without All American honors.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I think Ashlyn's a great player and still has a lot to prove and can prove a lot. I think she has a really high ceiling. Yeah, Rookie of the Year honors last year in the Big East. And yeah, I think with Ice Brady too, had a pretty big game against Jackson State. And I know Ashlyn popped off in that game, and really throughout the whole season as well. Like I said, on the nights, some nights were defensive nights, but some nights she came in and scored 20, 25, sometimes close to 30 points in some of those games. So hopefully we get to see that a lot more this season. She's more comfortable in the UConn system, and got a whole nother off season under her belt now with the team. And like I said, I think there's a really good chance we see all the numbers from Ashlyn go up this season.
All right, Ryan, that does it. Number 25 forward out of San Diego, California. It is Ice Brady. The spotlight on Ice Brady on Listen Up as the list continues to shorten. Ryan, it's all leading up to Thursday, November 7th, right here on Listen Up.